entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We made it! We made it! We made it! We made it! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this hollering, we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from that. He's a man. He can be a kid just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
No, this game is not over. It's just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM, streaming live, KYOKradio.org, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Roku. That's right. If you've got a Roku streaming device, all you want to do is go to where you download your stations or your apps and download BS3 TV, and you will be able to check out the lunch break on the legendary KYOK right there on your big screen TV. We're excited about that relationship with Ben Sutter III and all of the good folks over on the BS3 network. In fact, we'll have one of my brothers from the BS3 network on the show today. And I tell you what, I told y'all yesterday, we talked about it at length, about Sean Payton possibly being available for the Dallas Cowboys to pick up. And before we got off the air, the announcement came down that Sean Payton was stepping down as the head coach of the New Orleans Saints after 16 seasons, 15 of which he actually coached. Remember, he had that 1-year suspension with the Saints because of that bounty situation. So, a lot of questions. I listened into the press conference yesterday. That was interesting. I got David Grubb, host of Heart of the Paint, covers the New Orleans Saints. We'll talk to him and hear from him in just a little bit, but it does change a lot of things on the landscape of coaching depending upon who wants to step up and go and get it. He's under contract for, what I'm understanding now, 3 more seasons. 3 more seasons under contract with the New Orleans Saints, which means somebody's going to have to give up something in order to get him from that contract to their team. So Cowboy fans, if y'all want him, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and the powers that be got to step up and do what they have to do. All right, listen, there's some breaking news in the NFL for today. Let me get to it. Let's see that. We got that. Trying to see. Yeah, Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings have named Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah as their general manager. and he has been with the Cleveland Browns organization as the VP of Football Operations. He will be the new general manager of the Minnesota Vikings, and that brings the total to 7 general managers that are minority people of color. Those general managers now are most recently Chicago got the young man Poles as their general manager. Young man Poles just got announced yesterday as their general manager, Ryan Poles. And now the Minnesota Vikings, that's 2. Miami Dolphins, Cleveland Browns, Washington, Detroit. I knew I was going to forget the other one. Did I say Miami? Atlanta. I'm sorry, Atlanta. And then the person who really is acting as general manager for the Dallas Cowboys is black. So I'm willing to go 7.5 because, just Jerry Jones's title. He claims it, but there is someone that's actually doing a lot of that GM work in Dallas. So, again, 7, 8 black general managers now in the NFL. That's progress. I'm not going to sneeze at that. I know there are others. Well, there's 32 teams, and you only got 7 or 8 black general managers, so we ain't overcome yet. Listen, 7, 8 is a good number. I'm not saying it's the end all be all, but I'm saying that's significant change. Now, if we can get some more black head coaches, then, we doing something. And black coordinators, offensive, defensive. So anyway, let me get ready to take a break. When we come back, we'll get back into it. Winning Wednesday. Got to update you on the current standings in the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. Somebody's going to win $500 after the Super Bowl. 6 people are competing for it right now, and it is all jumbled up at the top. We'll talk about that on Winning Wednesday right here on the Lunch Break. If you want in, 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000. Or you can text me, 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005. You can email aj@kylksports.com, or you can call in 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. Keith, I'm going to address that when we come back right here on the Lunch Break.
If you have $2,000 or more in credit card debt, then listen up. We can reduce or eliminate your interest rates. Cut your monthly payment up to 50% and stop all late fees. Our company has been helping good people just like you get out of debt for over 30 years. Don't get stressed out. If you have $2,000 or more in credit card debt and medical bills, we can show you a way to reduce all of your bills to one lower monthly payment that you can afford. So again, if you have $2,000 or more in credit card debt and medical bills you can't afford, make this free call today and learn how you can finally get out of debt. Call now for your free consultation. 800-638-7112. 800-638-7112. 800-638-7112. That's 800-638-7112. Sponsored by Credit Guard.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-472-5145. 800-472-5145. 800-472-5145. That's 800-472-5145.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
I I am Jacqueline Carr, and here is your winning strategy. We all have gifts, and we must protect them. If not handled right, they will be damaged like broken glass. Before Samson was born, his assignment was already placed over his life. Before you were born, God had already placed an assignment upon your life. Some of you were created to deliver your family. Some of you were assigned to the nations. And what the enemy wants to do is kill what you were created for, because he knows that you were created to stop his plans. As you're working in the plans of God, the enemy may try to work against you, but because God is covering you, he won't let it touch you. When you feel the attacks of the enemy, he is trying to prevent you from walking into your blessed places. He's attacking you to try to stop you from receiving everything you are due.
This is Irma J from Internal Revamp, and you're listening to AJ on the lunch break.
Appreciate you, Irma J. Hope everything's going well with you, young lady. We are the lunch break. It's our winning Wednesday. Got a lot of folks texting in. Ben and Sutter the third. What's going on? What's going on? BS3 Network in the house. Again, if you got a Roku streaming device, go to where you download the shows or the stations and download BS3. B as in boy, S as in Sam, the number 3 TV, and you'll find some great shows. I'm telling you, great shows in the family. And be sure and scroll down and you'll find the lunch break. And I'm telling you, nothing like watching it in the middle of your big screen. Like it a lot. Keith Hennig, before we went to break, says it seems Byron Leftwich is hired in Jacksonville. And, I was hearing the same thing too, but then we got a not so fast, my friends. They're still working out contract details, and apparently they say that they're talking to somebody else. I was talking with Willie Gibson of Will Knows Podcast and Folks Talking Sports. He said the same thing that I was thinking, and that's that sounds like they're trying to squeeze him for less money. Like, oh yeah, well, hold on. If that's how much you want, we still got to work out the details, and we're talking to a couple of other people. Shad Khan and his son, they got to make that deal happen. They got to make that deal. That would be a good splash for a community that needs less drama and more production. If I'm Trevor Lawrence, hey, sign B and let's go. You got a young quarterback and you got a pretty good quarterback whisperer. Oh, yeah, by the way, who just happened to play quarterback for your team. If I'm ranking quarterbacks with the Jacksonville Jaguars, I got Byron Leftwich and David Garrard in the top three all time. Could probably go top 1 or 2, but now I'm going to go top 3. Who was that asked the question yesterday about top 3 coaches for the Dallas Cowboys? They gave Tom Landry the number 1 spot, Jimmy Johnson number 2. That was a good question. That was a really good question. I'm like going through almost all of my teams now and trying to figure out who that is. So for New Orleans, Sean Payton clearly the best. But who's number 2? Who is the second best head coach that the New Orleans Saints ever had? Is it Bum Phillips? It's not playoffs. Playoffs? I'm not talking about playoffs. It's not him. Who's the second best head coach the New Orleans Saints ever had as they get ready to look for another one? That was a really good question. I liked that question. I got some text messages that have come in. Let me read these real quick. David said, AJ, I think that they promote Dennis Allen to the New Orleans Saints job. And obviously they got to do the Rooney Rule interviews, but it's Dennis Allen's job to lose. I think that would be the logical promotion. Keith Hennig, that just made me throw up a little bit in the back of my mouth. If Mike Ditka was the second best coach that the New Orleans Saints ever had, pull the bags back out. Ditka was horrible. I know you're being funny. I forgot who I was talking to. Keith Hennig is hilarious. He can do stand-up comedy in his spare time. But Ditka was horrible. Remember when he traded his entire draft for Ricky Williams and proceeded to like lose the majority of their game? Ditka was horrible. I hated Mike Ditka as the New Orleans Saints head coach. Man, that one right there. Who was the New Orleans Saints' second best coach of all time? That's what I want to know. Houston Texans, we know who it is. Gary Kubiak, number 1. That other guy, number 2. Yeah, that's what that is. Ditka was a genius. IDIOT. Yeah, no doubt. All right, let me take another break. I'll be right back. I promise you, I'll give you the updates on the lunch break. Keep it up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. Get that done. And then one of our special guests will be chiming in about 9 minutes. About 9 minutes, we should have Kim Davis, Chalk Talk Sports. And I'm going to ask her that question. Best coach, top 3 coaches in Dallas, top 3 coaches in New Orleans, top 3 coaches in Texans. Dallas, New Orleans, Houston. Oh, you already know who they are in Pittsburgh. What I love about Pittsburgh, Chuck Noll. Gosh, I drew a blank on his note. I can see him with the mustache in the box. He's number 2, and then you got to give it to Mike Tomlin, number 3. You got to give it to Mike Tomlin, number 3. I love that they have 3 coaches, period, point blank, end of discussion. Unlike Cleveland, man. You got 59,000 head coaches in Cleveland because they've been so bad. All right, let me take this break. I'll be right back right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Pastors, beware. You have the right to remain silent, and you better make sure you do.
Trustee, the IRS can take your church and personal bank account if you're not in compliance. There are new IRS laws regulating pastor appreciation and anniversary love offerings. The Clergy Tax and Law Seminar is coming to Houston Wednesday, February 9th at the Doubletree Hobby Airport. A special DVD is available for free if you call right now. 800-344-0076. That's 800-344-0076. You must attend this Clergy Tax and Law Conference. Call now. 800-344-0076. That's 800-344-0076. Or go to cmtc.org. Dr. Michael Chitwood is coming to help you. Call now. 800-344-0076. That's 800-344-0076. God cannot bless a mess. Get your house in order.
Are you looking to start a business? From side hustles to major business opportunity? Franchise 123 connects franchise buyers with sellers. And we have over 4,000 franchises for you to choose from. In one simple 30-second call, our live agents will sign you up to the platform. This is not a hard sales call either. We give you free access to our database. Yes, free access, no cost. We are the largest online franchise database in the world. You can find 95% of all businesses. Buying a franchise doesn't have to be complicated. We make it easy. And right now, some have no startup fees. You can turn your special skill into a franchise business or go full scale with all the top franchise businesses in the world. Sign up with Franchise 123 now and get your free guide to franchise success now. Call 800-419-5344, 800-419-5344, or text Franchise 123 to 63566. Text Franchise 123 to 63566.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. 2 radio stations in one.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-253-1892. 800-253-1892. 800-253-1892. That's 800-253-1892.
Tune in to Table Talk with your boy, TD Blackshear, every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. on the legendary KYOK 1140 a.m. and 92.3 FM. See you there.
Hi, I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 a.m. and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
This is Jamie from Baytown listening to AJ on the lunch break.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate you. Man, I got to tell you, I love my listeners and friends and followers and all of that. T-Bone, who played in the NFL and is, part of our lunch break weekly, Keeping Up with the Joneses, Pick'em Challenge, just sent me a thing. He said, man, it is not true that the Steelers have only had 3 head coaches. They've actually had 16. They've actually had 16 head coaches, and he actually sent me the history. So let me straighten this out, because I was today's years old when I found out the Steelers had more than 3 head coaches. Here it is. In 1933, when they were named the Pittsburgh Pirates, Forrest Dowds was the head coach. In 34, Louis DeMello. 35 to 36, Joe Bach. 37 to 39, John McNally. And 39 to 40, they had a guy by the name of Walt Keisling. And then in 41, they became the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Bert Bell, Aldo Donnelly. Walt Keisling got brought back for 3 years. Jim Leonard, Jack Sutherland, John Mickelson, Joe Bach came back. Walt Keisling came back again. They liked Walt. They kept bringing Walt back. Buddy Parker, Mike Nixon, and Bill Austin. And then in 1969, they brought in Chuck Noll, and he coached from 69 to 91 with 342 wins. Then Bill Cowher, 92 to 2006, 240 wins. And then Mike Tomlin, 2007 to the present, 224 wins. I didn't know. I did not know. I didn't know. Hey, Courtney Harden, yeah, we got to connect. Let's do it. Let's do it. Monica Morris Howard, what's up, Queen? Welcome to the show. I did not know that the Steelers had all those other heads. I was always under the impression they had 3. They had 16. And again, number 1, Chuck Noll. Number 2, Bill Cowher. Number 3, Mike Tomlin. T-Bone, you win the internet today. Today is your show, bro. Today is your show. Did not know. All right, let me do the same, though, for the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints. I want to know what their coaching history is. God, they had some bad head coaches. Oh, my goodness. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Here we go. Tom Fears won 49 games. J.D. Roberts, 35. John North, 34. Ernie Herfley had won 8. Hank Stram, y'all don't give him enough credit. No, I'm sorry. Those guys didn't win that many games. They coached that many games. I'm sorry. All right, so Hank Stram was 15 and 29. Bum Phillips was 27 and 42. Wade Phillips was 1 and 3 interim. Jim Mora was 93 and 74. So Jim Mora, I got to go back and apologize to Jim Mora. Rick Venturi was 1 and 7. Mike Ditka was 15-33 as the New Orleans Saints head coach. Jim Haslett, 45-51. And then, of course, Sean Payton, 152-89. So if we had to do it based on wins, Sean Payton, number 1. Jim Mora, number 2. And Bum Phillips, number 3. Yeah, that would be the top 3 winningest coaches for the New Orleans Saints. Mike Patton said Mike Ditka, met him once. Ugh. Bruh, if I met him once, I would never admit it. I would never admit it. I'm serious, man. Mike Ditka, good gosh. I know he was a phenomenal Hall of Fame player. But just from what he did alone in Chicago, when he had one of the greatest teams of all time, and you finally get the Chicago Bears to the Super Bowl, and you forget, overlook, fail to give the ball to one of the greatest running backs of all time on the goal line, who had never been to a Super Bowl game, but gave you his blood, sweat, and tears. I got no respect for and I'm not even talking about the ignorant things he has said since then. That alone was, bro, you don't make that mistake. You just don't. You gave the ball to a fad. William Refrigerator Perry. No shade at William Refrigerator Perry, but you gave the ball to a fad over a Hall of Fame legend. I got no respect for that dude. No, I'm sorry. Y'all, some of y'all worship coaches like they walk on water, can do no wrong. I'm not one of them. I like I said about Coach K, I'll say the same thing about Mike Ditka. If he and I were the only 2 in the room and I had to come out with an interview or I'd lose my job, I'd come out and resign. I got nothing. But weren't you in there with Ditka? Yeah. You didn't get an interview? Nope. You didn't ask him anything? No. I told him, get away from me. Period. Mike Patton said, place I was covering the Super Bowl for in Minnesota had me covering an event he was doing. We got to get on the red carpet, and he didn't even let the media in the party at all, told us we was out. I can believe it. I can believe it. Usually when you're a trash person wherever you go. You know, you can fake some things, but just being trash, you can't really fake that. You ever seen trash dressed up like a present? Like, is that trash? Nah. Yeah, Mike Dick ain't it. But he's, again, top 3 coaches in New Orleans history. Gotta go Sean Payton, Jim Mora, 93 wins. I mean, there you go. Playoffs. And then you got to go Bum Phillips, 27 wins. 81-85. Yeah. Interesting, to say the least. All right, so Lunch Break Weekly, keeping up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge, playoff edition. 6 people are competing for $500 cash. They rose to the top over 18 weeks of the regular season, and now they have a chance to compete for $500 cash. After 2 playoff rounds, the standings are as follows. Number 1, Delano at 8-2. He was perfect in the first round, 2-2 in the second round. Number 2 is Alexis, based on the tiebreaker. Alexis was 2-2 this round. She had Kansas City winning the tiebreaker game 38-35. She was only off by 5. At number 3, Amber. Amber was 2-2. She had Kansas City winning the tiebreaker game 35-30. She was only off by 13. Number 4, Chi-Town, who won last year. He's the defending champ. Chi-Town is at 7-3. He had Kansas City winning the final game 33-28. He was off by 21 points. And then big time Floyd at 7-3. He had Buffalo winning the final game. Final score was 28-24. He was off by 26, and he had the wrong team win. So he was the last of the tiebreakers at 7-3. And then Keith Hennig is bringing up the rear. Thank you, Keith. Close that door behind you, please. He's 4-6. He did not get one of them right this past weekend. And no shade at that, because I got some other people that still sent their picks in just to kind of play it out. And there were 4 people that did not get any of them right this weekend. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So now it comes down to this. Those 5 people have to pick well this weekend between Cincinnati and Kansas City and LA and San Francisco. Pick who's going to win. And for the tiebreaker, use the LA Rams San Francisco game. Who's going to win and the exact final score for both teams. Have those to me by Sunday, 1 p.m. Central, 1 o'clock Central p.m. Text them 832-403-5005, 832-403-5005, or you can email them, aj@kylksports.com, aj@kylksports.com. And again, got to get them in by 1 o'clock on Sunday. Final score would be the San Francisco and LA Rams game. And I believe from that game, we'll know who's going to that final round where it'll come down to the Super Bowl. Somebody's going to win $500 cash. Somebody's going to win $500 cash. Courtesy of Sports and Wellness Doc, courtesy of the Hartwell Clinic, and courtesy of Charge Financial Group. They're an insurance company. If you need life insurance, if you need final expense insurance, if you need mortgage insurance, if you need an annuity, they got it all. They got term life, whole life, universal life. They got it all. Great group. Got them to pony up some of that $500. So if you need insurance information, you want to get life insurance, hit me up. I'll make sure you get connected. Let's see. Touring the AFC South said, I would have been 3-1 this past weekend. I was right in that 2-2 range. He's got San Francisco and Kansas City winning this weekend. What? Man, you got San Francisco beating the Rams? I'm still trying to figure out how is San Francisco still in this thing, and Jimmy G has not thrown one, none yet. Ain't in there. Zilch, 0. None touchdown pass in any of the games. And he been playing in the playoffs since they started. And that boy can't smell the end zone, let alone find it. But they're still in there. That's crazy to me. I no shade at you. I'm talking about Jimmy G. Jimmy G is the man. Jimmy G is like, trade me if you want to. Keith Hennig, the Rams have lost 6 consecutive games to the Niners. Keith, I'm a numbers guy. So the percentages of them losing a 7th are higher than them winning their first in those 7 games. They got a better chance of winning that 7th game than they do losing. Probability and statistics. They got a better chance of winning their 7th game as opposed to losing because they've lost 6 in a row. Flip a coin 7 times and see how many times it'll come up one head or the other. Mike Patton, touring the AFC South, said defense and run game. I know it. I pulled out the numbers. San Francisco's defense is crazy good. San Francisco's defense is ridiculous. Yeah. But what's crazy is the Cincinnati defense has allowed the fewest number of points in the playoffs than anybody else. Second, the Rams. Third, San Francisco. And fourth, Kansas City. Fewest number of yards allowed in the playoffs, LA Rams. Oh, total yards, I'm sorry. Fewest number of total yards allowed, LA Rams, San Francisco, Kansas City, and Cincinnati. So, yeah, defensively, you ain't kidding. The Rams' defense is strong. San Francisco's defense is strong. Cincinnati's defense is surprisingly strong. So, yeah, we'll see what's up. We'll see what's up. Hold on. I got messages. Okay. Special guest be coming on here very shortly. Very shortly. Mike Patton. Plus the 49ers have beaten the Rams 6 straight times. Y'all saying the same thing. It said Jimmy G out there point shaving. Man, Jimmy G say, listen, y'all can bet on me, bet against me if you want to. Bet against me if you want to. Rhonda, I'm a Jimmy G fan. Jimmy G all the way. Super Bowl MVP 2022. Rhonda, I can kind of tell you like you some Jimmy G. Let me take a break. We'll be right back. Winning Wednesday here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
This is Candace Houston. Tune into my new radio show called Candid Plug. Every Saturday from noon to 1, we will have engaging conversations on current events, topics that affect the community, and religion. Join me each Saturday from noon to 1 for my new show called Candid Plug, where you plus me equals us, right here on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on KYOKradio.org.
Well, I hope you are enjoying your weekend. Hey, everybody, it's Erica Campbell.
And I'm Grubb from Get Up Mornings.
We want to thank you so much for rocking with us every weekday morning.
And after you enjoy your weekend, make sure you start your work week with us.
When you start your day with us, we'll help you get moving and motivated to have the best day ever. Go ahead and say it, Griff.
Best day ever!
So wake up with us. We'll be faith walking,
Love talking,
and joy living on Get Up Mornings.
Get up. You're listening to
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
You don't sit behind a desk every day to earn a living. You're out and about making it happen. And sometimes you get a little bit behind on your paperwork, like bookkeeping and paying your taxes. It's easy to get behind on paying your taxes. It happens to the best of us. And you know what happens next. The big bad IRS comes knocking on your door. And when that happens, you need to call the good old boys at the Tax Doctor. Let them do what they do best. Deal and negotiate with the IRS so you pay the lowest you can in back taxes that the law allows. We are a 100% U.S.-based company, and we've saved our clients millions over the years in back taxes. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call my friends right now at the Tax Doctor and learn more.
800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, Jonathan McReynolds, and I'm glad that you made room for the legendary KYOK, The Lunch Break.
Thank you, Jonathan McReynolds, with your singing Anointed Self, man. I listened to his song, Grace. And, man, I had to pull the car over. I was like, wait, what? What? Dude said he thought he was stronger than his head and that he didn't need grace. I'm like, bro, let me hold on. Let me pull over because I needed to get in on that. All right. So anyway, touring the AFC South, Mike Patton said, Rhonda said she trying to get a date with Jimmy G. LOL. Rhonda ain't worried about all the stuff y'all talking about, all these statistics and all that. She said Jimmy G look good and she rocking with him. She said he look good and she rocking with him. I got no problems with that. I've been doing these football brackets and basketball brackets for a long time. A lot of times it's people that don't take it as serious as we do, all the stats and all the this, that, and the other, that end up winning it all. Well, how'd you pick him? Man, that quarterback is cute. Oh, okay. All right. I see you. I sure didn't use that as a stat. Should have. Should have. Rhonda was trying to holler. All right, AD, not AD Moore. This is a different brother, been following us for a while. Said, AJ, I'm like you. I don't understand how you can have a quarterback not throw a touchdown, but they still up in this thing, one game away from a Super Bowl. Texans should be ashamed of themselves. I was going to say that when Kim Davis came on. Two teams that just spotlight how bad the Texans and the Jaguars, teams like that are, would be Cincinnati and San Francisco. Cincinnati, has been historically bad since Marvin Lewis. San Francisco bounced back from an off year after they went to the Super Bowl a few years ago, but they don't have a top flight quarterback. The Texans did have a top flight quarterback with Deshaun Watson, and it only goes to show you just how bad Bill O'Brien was. Y'all got excited about AFC South championships when you got a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo leading the team to the Super Bowl and leading them to the NFC Championship game again. Ain't no reason in the world why the Texans should be consistently this bad. Even Jacksonville has been to an AFC Championship game. Texans have never been. So yeah, man, I use teams like that to just spotlight, man. Y'all get focused on the wrong thing. If they would have gotten Bill O'Brien out here sooner, if they would have never brought in somebody like a Lovie Smith, who's been to a Super Bowl game with Rex Grossman as his quarterback, then, this I said when they hired Bill O'Brien and when they were firing him, that he set this organization back 5 years. That's what I said. We're on year number what, 3? 2 or 3? 5 years before this organization gets back into any kind of real contention. And oh yeah, by the way, they weren't in any real contention before that. The Texans weren't worrying nobody about the AFC Championship game. They were never even close to it. And if you look at their playoff wins, came off of teams that were struggling. That went over the Raiders a couple years ago. They were down to their third string quarterback. So, yeah, man, Texan fans, I know I don't mean to pile on and make it worse, but y'all don't have a whole lot to be excited about. All right, let me see. I got some more messages. DM said, AJ, man, I'm telling you right now, I got a feeling these 49ers are going to surprise some people. What if it's Cincinnati and the 49ers in the Super Bowl? Underdogs rule. I like that, man. I'm kind of an underdog kind of dude. So yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. I didn't apply for credentials, so I'm not going, but man, I'm going to be face first in that game right there. Cincinnati and San Francisco, the two underdogs. Yeah, I'm down for it. But can I tell you the other thing that I'm kind of interested in? I want to hear what Baker Mayfield, Cleveland Brown fans, Cleveland Brown front office, and Cleveland Brown media are going to say if Odell Beckham Jr. wins the Super Bowl. I kind of want to peek at that. I kind of want to peek at that. So, like, if the Rams go, I won't be mad if they win it because I want to hear what they're going to have to say about Odell Beckham Jr. winning the Super Bowl. I want to hear what Dave Gettleman's going to have to say, all the New York Giants fans. I want to hear all the ESPN announcers, all the people that went ham on Odell Beckham Jr. I want to hear what they're going to have to say if he wins the Super Bowl, especially if he balls out. If he and Cooper Kupp just go off and win a Super Bowl, yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to come with something. I'm gonna need some statements. No comment. No, we're happy for him. Listen, we've moved on. We're just happy for him, and we're moving on. We're happy with. I want to hear that. Get in your chest. Say it like you said it when he was there, and he was the problem. Remember when y'all sent him home? I want to hear why. I want to hear how y'all feel about him at home now. And I'm sorry, did Cleveland make the play? Did the Giants make the playoffs? I'm just curious. It's a lot of storylines that me and my little petty self want to hear. I ain't been petty all year long. It's January. I ain't going to start off this year petty. I'm fasting from being petty, but I kind of want to see some of that. 281-453-1000, 1,000. All right, NB said, man, that stat about the Rams losing that many games to San Francisco can be misleading. I'm like you. Chances of the Rams losing 7 in a row are slimmer than them winning their first in 7. I agree. I mean, just based on numbers. I'm not even talking about the teams, just based on the numbers. It could happen. They could go 0-7 over their last 7. But statistically, the probability is that they'll win it as opposed to lose it. I mean, only one time in modern history did a team go undefeated through the playoffs and through the Super Bowl. The only team to get close, the New England Patriots, and those probability and statistics got them. They had a better chance to lose that Super Bowl than they had to win it. You won 18 in a row? Yeah, they had a better chance to lose that game than win it. I'm just saying, again, I'm not knocking anybody's stats. I'm just saying that's the chances are slim. All right, GP, AJ, you be tripping. Leave that man alone. Jimmy G is making his change. Leave him alone. Yeah, Jimmy G is going to secure the bag after this. Jimmy G can name his price wherever he goes after the. You done led the team to the NFC Championship game, and you tossing it around. What's it? They average 152 yards passing per game. He's got the lowest completion percentages of all the quarterbacks remaining. All the remaining quarterbacks are 73 or better. Jimmy G is coming in at a 61. He's got more interceptions than anybody. He's got 2. Closest to him is 1, Kansas City, 1, Cincinnati. And he's got 0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns. Jimmy G's passer rating is a cool 63. His passer rating is a cool 63. Patrick Mahomes, 135. Matthew Stafford, 134. Joe Burrow, 101. So 135, 134, 101, and Jimmy G is like, hey, y'all, 63, baby. That's crazy. Now, they've got the number 1 running team left in the playoffs. They run it at 144 yards per game. 138 yards per game. Kansas City's got the best rushing attack in the playoffs left. They're at 144. San Francisco second. The Rams third, and then Cincinnati fourth. Cincinnati fourth. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, listen, let me get Sybil Wilkes on with what you need to know, and then I'll get to these birthdays. We'll do that right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Come on, Sybil Wilkes.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Wednesday. We're trying to get over that hump. January 26, 2022. Number 1. The federal trial of 3 former Minneapolis police officers accused of violating the civil rights of George Floyd began Monday. Thomas Lane, J. Alexander King, and Tu Tao are charged with depriving the African-American man of his constitutional rights on May 25, 2020. Federal prosecutors said they will show that King, Lane, and Tao stood by as former policeman Derek Chauvin slowly killed George Floyd right in front of them. Number 2, the Black population of the United States is diverse, growing, and changing. Roughly 4.6 million, or 1 in 10 Black people in the U.S., were born in a different country as of 2019. That's up 3% from 1980. The Black immigrant population is also projected to outpace the U.S.-born Black population in growth. In 2060, the U.S. Census Bureau projects that this number will increase to 9.5 million, or more than double the current level. Number 3, The Biden administration has announced that it plans to issue 400 million free N95 masks at pharmacies and health centers across the country. The coveted non-surgical N95 masks are coming from the Strategic National Stockpile, which is the country's cache of medical equipment supplies. Most of the pharmacies include CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, and Sam's Club. Customers are limited to 3 masks per person. Number 4, a central Pennsylvania borough is poised to become the first municipality to repeal anti-discrimination safeguards. The ordinance, which extends protections to gay, transgender, or genderqueer people, was passed in October by the then Democratic Majority Council. Pennsylvania is one of 27 states that have no explicit statewide laws protecting people from discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity in employment, housing, and public accommodations. Number 5. Tiffany Foster has not been seen or heard from since March 1st, 2021. Tiffany was last seen leaving her home at the Lakeside Apartments in Newman, Georgia, as she was headed to the grocery store. Tiffany is described as 5 feet 2 inches tall with hazel eyes and weighs 220 pounds. If you or someone you know has information regarding Tiffany's disappearance, please go to blackandmissinginc.com. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Change is inevitable. Go with the flow of the universe for peace. So inhale change, exhale resistance. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with Stephen Hill, Myra J., and Quinn Townsend Riley as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SybylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
Thank you very much. There's Sybil Wilkes for What We Need to Know today here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our Winning Wednesday, and let me get to the birthdays real quick. Happy birthday to my frat, Noop, Ted McPhail from Beta Iota Xavier University. Happy birthday, Tiffany Ross. What's up, sis? Felicia Brooks is 52 today. Femi Blue, what's going on, sis? She's celebrating a birthday all the way over in Kenya. I got to say happy birthday to Jacqueline Wanjiru celebrating her birthday. And this lady with her singing self. I mean it. I love this woman like a sister, Rhonda McLemore. Happy birthday to you as well, sis. Happy, let me get to the celebrity birthdays today. Celebrity birthdays. Happy birthday to Paul Newman. Y'all remember the actor Paul Newman? Paul Newman, a lot of folks don't realize, was a auto racer and a team owner. He passed away in 2008. He was born on this day in 1925. Bob Uecker, used to call him Mr. Baseball. He was born on this day in 1935. Wayne Gretzky, the greatest of all time in hockey, was born on this day in Ontario. And then Vince Carter was born on this day in Daytona Beach, Florida. And then one of our own right here in Houston, Texas, his grandmother goes to my church, Gerald Green, who I believe is making a comeback. Gerald Green, celebrate his birthday. Happy birthday to everybody celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. Usher, do your thing.
Oh, go shawty, it's your birthday. Ooh, it's your birthday. Go shawty, it's your birthday. Today's your day. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. Again, everybody celebrating birthdays and anniversaries and all of that good stuff. We appreciate you right here on the lunch break. All right, listen, let me get ready to get this first hour on the books and the second hour underway here on the legendary KYOK. I got a special guest joining us next here on the show. Real quick, the Rockets got spanked by the Spurs last night, 134-104. Spurs will host Memphis tonight at 7:30. Rockets will host Portland. That will be Friday at 7. Golden State beat all up on the Mavericks, kind of payback from the Mavericks doing that to them. They beat them 130-92. The Mavericks head on to Portland tonight at 9. UT got a big win, finally. Beat TCU 73-50. Number 4, Baylor kept rolling. They beat K-State 74-49.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3
What's up, brother?
FM 222.
I'm good. How you doing? And opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast. Man, it's good. It's good hearing your voice and seeing you.
Man, it's good hearing your voice and seeing you.
Entirely responsible for all shows and do not.
I done updated my light now. You know, I got a better computer now since I last came on here. Listen, we got this brother joining us right now. He telling me all the upgrades he done made since he was last on the show, and I'm glad to have him back on. It is my brother from the BS3 network. Is none other than Hygh from the Casual Highlight. Al, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Of yourself, sir?
Man, I'm doing great, Al. I'm seriously, brother. It is good to have you back on the show. You know, I kept saying we got to get Al back. We got to get Al back. We finally made it happen. What have you been up to since we last talked?
Oh man, just improving myself, improving the brand of Casual Highlight, researching, praying. Asking the question, am I supposed to be in this space, or what space am I supposed to be in? Reading, all of that stuff, man. Studying other people who are in the sports industry, and just really understanding the craft of it. And it's not no overnight success. It takes work. It takes work at anything that you do.
Al, I appreciate you saying that because, I'm not about me, just in general. I've been in radio for 40 years. Coming up this coming June, 40 years in radio. I've been covering sports since 2005. 2005, been covering sports since then. And you're right, bro. It is work, man. It is not just come in, sit behind the mic, and just start talking off the top of your head. There's show prep, there's research, there's follow-up, there's confirmation and verification. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen. And Al, if you don't mind, I'm going to add in another colleague who is a legend in this game, Kim Y. Davis from Chalk Talk Sports. Kim, this is Al Hygh from the Casual Highlight, and he's been talking about putting in the work and what it takes to get better in this craft. I told him I got 40 years in radio, 2005 in sports, and you got a little history in this thing as well, huh?
I do. Hey there, good afternoon. I've been doing this 30 plus years, but I started when I was 12. So mostly television and radio, and also some print, but I've been working in sports since the 80s, if you want to type that in.
All right.
And Kim, I can't do nothing but take the hat off of my proverbial head to you, because I mean it, man. Being in radio since the 80s is one thing, but being in sports since the 80s. So you covered the Rockets. I mean, not just the Rockets, but you covered the Oilers and you flew with the team and all that kind of stuff. Guys like me and Al, man, we can only admire that.
Yeah. So, when I did cover the Oilers. I covered when Warren Moon came to the Oilers. I covered when Steve McNair came to the Oilers. I mean, I covered when the Oilers left. I covered when the Texans came, and I did travel, cover the road games back then. I was working. I had probably 8 jobs. I did radio, I did print, I did television, and so it's been quite a journey. I covered the 2 Rockets championships in '94 and '95, and so I've covered lots of Hall of Famers. I've covered champions. And it has been quite a journey, and it's a lot has changed, and then a lot stayed the same. I will say this, and whenever I say this to AJ, we always kind of, I don't know if you chuckle or if you shake your head, but I would say that press rooms covering sports is less diverse today than it was when I started.
Yeah. Al, are you finding that when you cover teams, are you finding that you are one of few in the press room or locker room or wherever you are covering your teams?
I think my stuff froze. So I didn't hear the rest of what Kim said. What was the
So she was saying that there's a lack of diversity in the press rooms now compared to when she started.
Yeah, it was less diverse than when I started, is what I'm saying. And I think that because people see women and some people of color on networks, they think that the sports space, the people telling the stories, that it's a more diverse space, and I'm saying that it's less diverse than it was before. There were women in sports talk radio when I started, and in the market of Houston, which is the fourth largest city, soon to be third, there just really isn't. And it's that way across the board.
Yeah. Go ahead, Al.
So I look at it, and just from researching, because I would love to get down to like the press and just looking just from the ESPNs and the Bleacher Reports and the Fox Sports. I just think we just need more diversity all over the place. I don't want to bring this up. I don't know if you brought this up yet, AJ, on the show, but looking at the situation with the Hall of Fame writers and the Baseball Hall of Fame, and how certain people were left out because you didn't say hello to me, or you didn't or you weren't nice to me, or you didn't treat me a certain type of way, and all they looked at was, and they didn't even look at the stats of what the person did to make the game better. And I'm learning this every day. I've been doing this since 2019, and taking small little bit steps at a time. But what I'm learning is, in each space whatever space that you're in, make it better than what it was before. And if we're able to make the space better for other people to come behind us, man, our job is complete. Our job is done. And so learning from you, AJ, watching your show and what you do, and now I'm gonna start following you, Miss Kim, and watching what you do. You'll help me become a better YouTuber, a better podcaster, whatever, or better blogger. So taking notes from you all is an honor, and just and watching the steps and how you all prep and prepare and being a leader.
Kim, I'll let you respond to that, but I don't take stuff like that lightly. I really don't. I feel like we do have a responsibility to what we put out there and who, quote unquote, learns from us. And he brought up a real good point, man. When I just look at numbers, get all the innuendos and rumors and preferences out, the fact that they put one player in the Hall of Fame yesterday and the people that they left out. So watch this. The guys that were rumored, now we rumored to have used steroids were out. The guy that we know used steroids, without a doubt, is in. So even if whatever the metric that they use or moral code that they use, it don't make sense. But anyway, Kim, let me let you respond.
No, I agree. I don't take that lightly either, and I appreciate you for saying that. And not that I do this work or I've done this work for people to say, oh, I should look up to you because you've got so much skin in the game. It's not for that reason. But there are so many people who've come behind us who don't have any value in that, right? They come in, they put in a little bit of time, and they feel like they should ascend to some other level. And it does take work. And it's a lot of work. And there's a ton of stories that I'm sure we could all share, but especially covering sport. I'll tell this. I always, to put some perspective, when I started covering the Houston Oilers, they were working out at a place, if you're in Houston, over on Holly Hall was where they used to train. And being at practice, because I'd cover practice. If I had to go to the restroom in practice, somebody would have to walk me into the locker room because there was no media restrooms and there was nothing for women. And I'd have to go in the locker room to the restrooms that the players use and have somebody stand outside while I go in, right? That's the environment. So the idea that, oh, great, you get to go in the locker room. Yeah, I went in the locker room because that's where I had to work, right? It's about equal access. And then, of course, if I had to use ladies' room, that's where I had to go because there was no ladies' room, right? That's how long I've been in the game. And so when I see people now that come in with all of these, I deserve, I should have, it's like, yeah, but don't disregard the people that have gone before you and that are still here trying to make a way to tell the stories and tell them the right way. I was listening to an interview with two writers that have votes for the Baseball Hall of Fame on my way to jump on this. One of them is a guy from Forbes, who's an African-American columnist, and Tim Kirchin talk about that. And, the idea that in the Mitchell report in 2003, which was supposedly anonymous, which is how we know about Ortiz and the PEDs, but the fact that the commissioner Manfred basically said like, oh, but it's different. What does that mean? Right? But we can't get into Barry Bonds. So these guys all have one more shot, right, to go before these 16 people in a room later this year. I can't imagine what that's going to be, but I'm listening to the same people talk about why Kurt Schilling should be. So is it about integrity and honor, or isn't it? I'm so confused. But it's not even, Al, it is about diversity. It's diversity of thought also.
Yeah.
And that baseball situation, there's no way that Barry Bonds shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I've been screaming it forever. I have nothing else to add about it. And people are mad because, not mad, but they made a point. Roger Clemens made a statement or congratulated Ortiz, and Schilling showed a picture with some ferrets or something, I don't know, and somebody else did this, but Barry Bonds didn't say anything. What do you want him to say?
Yeah.
What is he to say? It's a wrap.
Yeah. Yeah, again, we got Kim Y. Davis, Chalk Talk Sports on the show. We got Al Hygh from the Casual Highlight. Appreciate both of them making time to be on the show. And let me just share this real quick, and then I want to ask you guys some questions before we take our next break, our first break, I should say. Will Gibson from the Will Knows podcast, broadcast journalist up in Ohio, says he has a friend that's a baseball head. And he looked at the OPS of Barry Bonds and Big Papi, and Barry Bonds was higher. He took every one of Barry Bonds' home runs and made them outs. Every one of them, and made them outs. And the OPS for Barry Bonds is still higher than the OPS for Barry Bonds. Make it make sense. Just make it make sense.
Yeah.
You can't make that make sense.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my camera right. Yeah, there's no way to really. You can't really justify it. It is what it is, and it's a lot of the foolishness that we see. We saw it in baseball. We're seeing it as we talk about coaching hires for the NFL. We see it in so many things. It's just silly.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to do a little bit of rapid fire. Do you mind? Do you mind if we do a little bit of rapid fire when we come back?
It's your show, dude.
All right. I got two of my favorites and two of who I call the best. We got Kim Y. Davis, Chalk Talk Sports, and we've got Al Hygh from the Casual Highlight, part of the BS3 network. Kim, we're streaming live on Roku TV right now, courtesy of the BS3 TV network, and we're grateful for that. So if you got a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV, and you can watch us right in the middle of your big screen TV. We'll be right back with the lunch break right after this on the legendary KYOK.
If you have $2,000 or more in credit card debt, then listen up.
I appreciate you all allowing me to pivot and put you two together. Thank y'all for letting me do that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a meeting that ran long, so I couldn't get on sooner. I probably have to pop out about 1:40 at the latest because I got a board meeting.
We're actually going to do about 7 more minutes, if that's okay.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, thanks, y'all.
You can afford. So again, if you have $2,000 or more in credit,
Kim, my producer, is blowing up my phone about stuff, so he says he's going to find you an intern.
I appreciate it. Angel appreciates it too. She's like, I need to go out. You can wait 7 minutes, chick. So
I love when Angel's on the phone.
638.
Say, look at my little. Let me see.
638.
Whoa, that is dope. I like that.
It says mucho smucho. She needs a job. That's why I'm just trying to pimp her out like that.
11:40 a.m.
Y'all stand by.
92.3.
All right.
This is Jonathan Nelson, and you're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ.
Thank you very much there, Jonathan Nelson. We're the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM, streaming live, kyokradio.org. It's our Winning Wednesday, and I've got two people who've covered a lot of winning here in the world of sports. So I want to do a little bit of rapid fire with Kim Davis from Chalk Talk Sports and Al Hygh of the Casual Highlight. All right. We now have 7 Black general managers in the NFL. Yes or no, Kim Davis, will we see 2 more or no more? Yes or no?
General managers?
General managers.
No more.
No more. Al Hygh.
This year or just ever?
No, this year.
Yeah, I say no more.
Al High, your thoughts?
No more.
No more.
Ain't
So,
happening.
guys like Lewis Riddick, Jerry Reese, they're done. No more availability.
I would say one more. You said two more. I say one more.
And I was specific.
Okay.
I don't want to make it easy for y'all.
Yeah.
So again, the answer was no. No
to two. Yeah, no to two more.
Okay. All right. The New Orleans Saints obviously are now without a head coach. Who takes that job? First name off your head, Kim Davis.
Man, I'm sorry. I just can't even wrap my mind around that job yet. I would say Byron Leftwich, but I'm kind of thinking Byron Leftwich for Jacksonville because they already have a quarterback. So, maybe that's the job that they throw at Bieniemy.
Okay, Bieniemy. All right. Al High, who you think takes that New Orleans job?
Dennis Allen. They're gonna go. I believe they're gonna go inward. I think Dennis Allen will get a look, but they really need an offensive-minded person in that room and in there to help with that offense, with that situation with Alvin Kamara, and you need to figure out the situation with Michael Thomas as well. So you got to look at that. So definitely Dennis Allen, but you got to find a strong offensive-minded coach.
Okay,
if you go that route.
All right. So there are a number of named quarterbacks that might be making a move this offseason. Where does Aaron Rodgers play football in 2022? Kim.
Denver.
Al.
Denver.
Where does Russell Wilson play quarterback in 2022? Al.
Pittsburgh.
Well, I hope you're right. Kim.
I was going to say New Orleans.
I hope you're right. All right. Where does Carson Wentz play football in 2022? Al.
Oh, shucks. Oh, man. New Orleans?
I hope you're wrong. Kim Davis.
Where he is? I mean,
if you look at what the owner is saying, I don't think that's going to happen. People forgot just how raw Jim Irsay could be. He fired Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he did. Somebody says he plays for a local high school. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's a backup someplace.
Wow, that would be appropriate. Ryan Tannehill, where's he play quarterback next year? Kim Davis.
He's going to still be with Tennessee.
Okay. Al High.
He's going to be Tennessee.
Yeah, the money says that. The money
says that.
The money says that. All right, let's go ahead and get to this. Who will be the head coach of the Houston Texans? Kim Davis.
Josh McCown.
God, I hope you're wrong.
I mean, look, they set it up for that.
You're right. Al High.
That's ridiculous.
Right there. Listen. Man, who is the I'm gonna throw a wild card name out there. Pete Carmichael, offensive coordinator of the Saints. If he doesn't get the Saints job, he can go to. They might interview him for the Texans job. Just a wild card.
For the course. that would be Josh McNown-ish.
Yeah.
What's the fascination with Josh McNown and why?
It's a relationship thing from everything that I can that I hear with he and Jack Easterby. And you hear mixed things about when they talked to Josh McCown last year, that Josh was like, yeah, I'm not ready yet, which he's done nothing since last year to get ready. I mean, he's not playing, he's not coaching. I mean, I think he did some work with the high school. I'm not saying that to be funny. I think he did like some volunteer, air quote, coaching, but now he, I guess, feels like he's ready. But we know that Jack Easterby's got a ton of clout with this organization, right? A lot more than people want to really admit, or a lot more than he wants to really say, or Nick wants to act like he has. Ask Brian Gaine, ask Bill O'Brien, ask Nick Caserio, right? All those people comings and goings, I think, are directly tied to Jack Easterby. And Jack has this fascination with Josh. And listen, not to disparage Josh, I hear he's a great guy. He really knows quarterbacking. That's what he did. I mean, as a backup, you're in the room. So I don't knock that. He's a great guy. And maybe one day he would be a really good coach. But it's ludicrous to think that he's ready on any level to be the head coach now. I mean, if you want to say we're going to bring him in and let him be a passing assistant, or maybe let him be the quarterback coach, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
But he's not ready to be a coordinator, and he's definitely not ready and prepared and qualified to be the head coach. But I think there's a really good chance, especially when you hear these conversations about, well, the Texans are trying to get somebody else to talk to him, to interview him, so that it would give some validity when they make him a coach.
And then
so the Jacksonville is not,
is trying to promote him as a possible head coach candidate for their young quarterback and their young team.
Well, I heard that with Jacksonville, to be clear, it was not a interview they were offering, but it was a conversation. But of course, from this side, the Texans, whoever's trying to create this narrative, is trying to make it as though they're interviewing him. See, other people want him too. That's kind of how you got Nick Caserio. See, North Carolina wanted him too. I digress. I think it's going to be Josh.
Yeah. Al Hygh, what do the Texans look like outside of Houston? You're outside of this area. What do people think and are saying about this Houston Texans organization outside of here?
They don't know what they're doing. What is going on? We would never send anybody down there to work for. There's some organizations, if I'm like an Eric Bieniemy or anybody in the Kansas City Chiefs staff, that I wouldn't just go interview with, because it's just a total mess. One of them is Houston. I'm like, who in the world, after 1 year, after Culley getting fired, what was the real reason for David Culley in the beginning to get hired? Was he the fall man? Like, for him to have just 1 year and didn't put no imprint. And I watched the game, the final game of the year. Actually, I was able to watch the game when they played at the Titans, and those players played hard for him. I'm like, okay, he'll get another year. His quarterback situation was a mess, and they let him go. Like, I don't understand this stuff in the NFL with these 1 year hires. Like, who was the coach that was in Arizona? Steve Wilkes that had 1 year. I don't understand it. Why are you wasting? Look. Okay, you're paying them money, but these people are still human beings. So to get back to your point, AJ, it's a mess. It's a total. It's tragic what's going on in Houston with that organization. You had DeAndre Hopkins leaving. You have the Deshaun Watson situation, and that's still going on. You have all the rumors about the late owner McNair, in the comments that he made, is really starting at the top of the organization and how they think about and treat people.
I will say this. I don't think that Bob McNair would have abdicated his power to Jack Easterby. I don't think Bob would have done that. So whatever Bob's shortcomings were, an 80-year-old man from South Carolina, I think you got to keep all that into perspective. And I'm going to say this.
True.
In that room, so Troy Benson was in the room. What made Troy that day decide he was going to say something? Because he'd been in the room a whole lot, and I'm going to move on from that. At any rate, I thought it was – I think there's a whole lot there. And, I'm not going to try to dress up those comments that Bob McNair made. But Cal McNair is no Bob McNair. I don't think you would see the team – the team is not just bad on the field, because they're bad on the field. But they're bad in business. If you talk to business people in the community that do business with them, they don't like the way they do business. There's nothing about the operation right now that's getting high marks, because all of that has changed with Cal, who is being led by, in my opinion, and my thoughts from what I know, Jack.
Yeah. What's interesting?
And Jack could be a good guy, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. And what's interesting is Al Davis had a kind of similar relationship with his son, Mark. And that's why he was bringing in guys like Hugh Jackson and other football people, because Mark just did not have that. I'm starting to wonder now if that's how Bob and Cal were. Like, Cal, you're my son, but these folks right here know what they're doing. And now that he has gotten the position from the team for Mom, guess what? The folks that he's putting in charge don't know what they're doing. I hate to do it. We got to stop it right here. Kim, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you and all the great work you do for so long after starting in this business at 12 years old.
Excellent. Thank you very much. You can follow me on Twitter at Kim Y. Davis, and you can follow me on Instagram at kim.y.davis. My show Chalk Talk is on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. It airs live every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Time. And then I'm active throughout the week covering Rockets, Texans, Astros, whatever's happening, sports, and sometimes some political stuff I throw in because that too is a sport. But you can follow me those places and see what I'm up to, and I'm happy to share my perspective. I'm glad to meet you, Al. I look forward to following you as well. And always good to be on the lunch break, AJ. Thank you for sharing your space. I appreciate you.
Kim, you are truly one of the best, and I mean that sincerely. Not just because you're my friend, I mean that sincerely. In fact, before I introduce you, Al, Kim, something just came to mind to me. How many Black sports female journalists, broadcast journalists before you in Houston?
Oh, in Houston, none.
So you are the first Black female sports journalist in Houston.
Yes.
I mean, I just want that out there because that needs to be out.
There haven't been many. I mean, and when there haven't been many. So, there was Pam Oliver came through the market. And yeah.
See, and again, I'm not knocking history. Black history is Black history, but you're making Black history right now. And I'm gonna put something together for you in our coming month, if you don't mind. Let me do that. Okay?
You're super kind. But yeah, I had to think about it. No, there's not. And before we go, I have a friend who was like, "You should brand yourself the first woman of sports." I'm like, but I'm not the first woman. I mean, there was Anita Martinez. I mean, I'm real literal because I am a journalist, right? I'm not just like talent. Right. So I was like, yeah, I'm not comfortable really saying that. And what does that mean anyway? But when you ask me that, I can tell you, yeah, there was not before.
Yeah. Thank you, Al. Where they follow you?
Al.com has my YouTube channel, The Casual Highlight, and my podcast. Also, all my social media is there for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I've been covering a lot of the Chiefs stuff, and I got a lot more content about that coming out this week. We're excited about the 13 seconds, and I just actually did an interview with our BS3 own Vinny Hardy from Cats Talk Wednesday, and we talked about the game. We talked about the blue bloods of college basketball.
Okay. Oh, awesome! I look forward to that.
Well, all right, guys, I appreciate y'all making the time. Y'all do me a favor, stay in touch with me, and let's keep chopping it up like this. Y'all have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, AJ.
All right, y'all. I mean it, man. I love having great, smart, brilliant people on, and that's what we just had. Let me take a break, and then I'm going to have another young man on, and we'll hear his comments. He covers the New Orleans Saints. David Grubb, host of Hard to Paint, when we come back right here on the lunch break.
Pastors, beware. You have the right to remain silent, and you better make sure you do. Trustee, the IRS can take your church and personal bank account if you're not in compliance. There are new IRS laws regulating pastor appreciation and anniversary love offering. The Clergy Tax and Law Seminar is coming to Houston Wednesday, February 9th at the Doubletree Hobby Airport. A special DVD is available for free if you call right now, 800-344-0076. That's 800-344-0076. You must attend this Clergy Tax and Law Conference. Call now, 800-344-0076. That's 800-344-0076, or go to cmtc.org. Dr. Michael Chinwood is coming to help you. Call now, 800-344-0076. That's 800-344-0076. God cannot bless a mess. Get your house in order.
Are you looking to start a business? From side hustles to major business opportunity? Franchise 123 connects franchise buyers with sellers. And we have over 4,000 franchises for you to choose from. In one simple 30-second call, our live agents will sign you up to the platform. This is not a hard sales call either. We give you free access to our database. Yes, free access, no cost. We are the largest online franchise database in the world. You can find 95% of all businesses. Buying a franchise doesn't have to be complicated. We make it easy, and right now, some have no startup fees. You can turn your special skill into a franchise business or go full scale with all the top franchise businesses in the world. Sign up with Franchise 123 now and get your free guide to franchise success now. Call 800-419-5344, 800-419-5344, or text Franchise 123 to 63566. Text Franchise 123 to 63566.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Jonathan McReynolds here. Make room for the lunch break right here on the legendary KYOK.
All right, appreciate you, Jonathan McReynolds, again. We're going to go to a clip of David Grubb and myself. All right, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our Winning Wednesday. And I told y'all yesterday I had to pull the man in. This dude knows more about New Orleans Saints football than I'll ever know. So we had to get him in. You know him, David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, does a whole lot of other things. David, thanks for joining us for this segment.
Oh, happy to do it. You know, it's a very historic and difficult day for the folks here in New Orleans and Louisiana and throughout Who Dat Nation, wherever they are. But, you know, this was unexpected and just one of the most significant news stories, sports stories that we've had in probably 2 decades in New Orleans.
You know, and again, brother, just knowing how things were when they started playing again after Katrina and there in New Orleans and that big game when they just blew the doors off of, what team was that they played?
Indy.
Peyton
Manning.
Game over. It was, you know, throwing the towel. There was nothing they can do. And now 15 years later for Sean Payton, we are coming to a close. How surprised were you? What did you hear in the press conference? What are your thoughts about Sean Payton stepping down at this juncture of his career?
Well, first, let's start with your last part first. How do I feel about Sean stepping down? I don't blame him, but no coach in the NFL over the past 16 years. And let's remember, he was in New Orleans 16 years, but he only coached 15 because of the Bounty Gate suspension.
Right.
Nobody has been what that man's been through. You know, both good, bad, and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all three.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about from coming into this city and this region when you didn't really know how viable it was, and then being a part of that rebuild in New Orleans. And then you talk about annually worrying about, we've had multiple hurricanes since then that have caused some devastation to this region. Yeah. You've had the concerns that happened with people don't want to remember this, but there was a Vicodin issue with the Saints a few years back in their locker room where some coaches were accused of improperly taking medication. And that was a big issue for a while. The federal government got involved. You had Bounty Gate. You had the years where the Saints had the worst defense in maybe the history of the NFL for 3 consecutive years. You had the playoff losses that mounted over the last few years that just hurt more and more. And then again, this year with Drew Brees retiring and then another hurricane and relocating and going through more starters than anybody has ever done in the history of the NFL, playing with 4 different quarterbacks in one season. And the man just got married last year.
Oh, wow. You know, and that part I totally forgot about until you just said it right then. You know, I said yesterday that Sean Payton probably did one of his best coaching jobs ever this season, to go down to your 4th string quarterback, all those different bodies, like you said, more roster players than in this season than ever before, and to be that close to the NFL playoffs. You know, I know they're going to give Coach of the Year to somebody else, but he literally did one of his best coaching jobs of his career.
Yeah, I absolutely think he did the best job. I think it was the best individual season that he's ever coached. When you look at that roster, offensively in particular, after Jameis Winston went down, what they were forced to play with on a week-to-week basis, when you're talking about 60 to 80% of your starting offensive line missing, when you're talking about your top 2 receivers missing for most of the season, your number 1 receiver gone the entire season, having to play without Alvin Kamara at times, who is the most dynamic, one of the most dynamic individual players in the entire league. When you've had to do all of that and you beat Tampa Bay twice, You beat Green Bay by 35 points.
Beat the
When you
brakes
beat
off.
Tampa Bay, you shut Tom Brady out for only the second time in his career.
Yep.
And you did that with spare parts and people who probably didn't play football the week after they finished that game.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so to get to 9-8 in an NFC that was as deep as it was this year, and you look at the Saints, and you could say if they had gotten in the way you watch San Francisco get to where they are right now,
Absolutely.
and the Saints defense was the number 1 or number 2 defense in just about every category this year.
Yep.
Nobody would have wanted to play them.
Yeah. That's true. That's very true. David Grubb joining us, host of Hard to Paint, joining us on a special edition of our show as we talk about the surprising retirement of Sean Payton.
Well, Sean says it's not a retirement,
and I was gonna spin that because he said specifically, I'm just taking a break, and I might have a passion to coach again. What do you make of that? What do you think that's going to look like over the next 12 to 24 months when his contract actually comes to an end?
Well, Saints got him for another 3 years on this.
Is it 3? Okay, I thought it was 2.
Yeah, so it's I think a lot of this will come down to the way Saints fans will feel about it. Nobody's going to begrudge Sean Payton, I don't think, a second act.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Vince Lombardi left the Packers and went to Washington.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There are very few coaches that you identify so singularly with their franchise. And I think Sean Payton goes in that group with Don Shula.
Sure.
That goes in that group with Don Coryell, with Bill Walsh. When you identify an offense, a time, and a team, Sean Payton is one of those few people that you put in that group. I think the one thing that would really be the thing that would drive Saints fans particularly upset is if Jerry Jones paid that price. If Sean Payton ends up walking to Dallas in the next year or two, Saints fans, that's the one that might cause them to say, look, what you did was nice, but you ain't done nothing for us lately.
We talked about that at length on our Talk Your Team Tuesday, and it just kind of came up randomly. One of the callers, one of the text messages came in about that. The other night, I was on with one of our colleagues, A.D. Moore, on the Ad Max Corner, and I said, hey, Cowboy fans, 2 words for you that might change everything. Sean Payton, because I had been getting to hear rumblings that he was not committed to coming back to the Saints. And if there's any way possible for them to get Sean Payton in Dallas, that will change everything. While that might affect the fandom towards Sean Payton, it won't affect legacy, history, or anything like that. So let's look at what do you think it would take for Dallas to be able to get Sean Payton before that contract ended?
A whole lot of picks. You remember what the Gruden price was?
I don't remember. What was it?
I think the Gruden price was 4 number 1s.
Wow.
It would take more than that to get Sean Payton out from under that contract.
Mm-hmm.
Because they hold his rights. He's got to hang on even during this contract. They hold on to those rights. So, it's going to take more than 4 picks. It's going to take more than 4 picks to get him to because there's no play. I mean, like, is Dallas going to get if they come and they say we want CeeDee Lamb and we want this and that? Are you giving that up for the coach? So that's the thing, is the Saints going to ask for picks and all the picks they can get. And I think that there will be other teams too who are willing to pay that price, whether it's in a year or so. If Jacksonville says, hey, we got nothing to lose. We haven't had a decent coach since Tom Coughlin walked out the door. We'll throw whatever we can at Sean Payton. Who knows what the Chargers situation could be like? He's a Texas guy. Houston might come calling. He might rather be in Houston than in Dallas. You don't know anymore. How situations change in a year or two. I don't know, but I know this. Sean Payton, the thing that he would not want to do is hurt the Saints, just hurt them.
Right.
Now, business is business.
Right.
But whatever it is, I think he would make sure that a fair price was worked out. He's not going to hold the Saints' feet to the fire over something and say, I got to get out over this.
Right.
Because they've done him every courtesy possible.
Sure.
Nobody had a better front office and head coach relationship than Sean Payton with the Saints.
Yeah. We got David Grubb joining us here on the lunch break, and I agree with you on that. I would believe that Sean Payton would make sure that the Saints were equitably, compensated for whatever it would take to get him out from under that contract. Jerry Jones and the Cowboys have flirted with Sean Payton for a lot before he took the job with New Orleans, maybe once or twice while he was there, because there have been a couple.
The last time was about 2016.
Yeah, that's
when he really had to address the rumors that Dallas was in play.
Yeah.
That was right after, you're talking about right around the Bounty Gate time, the suspension.
Mm-hmm.
He spent a lot of time in Texas that year with his family. And this was right before he, while he was going through the divorce and everything. And so I remember at that point, there was a real concern that he was leaving. But talking today with people like Ross Jackson, who is the editor over at Canal Street Chronicles and a frequent guest on Hard to Paint, Ross said this is, for him, he felt like 2 years we kind of had been waiting for Sean to kind of be like, yeah, I'm done. And in Sean's statement today saying that, he really considered it after last season, and he thought about it, before training camp began this year, that he would be done. And Mrs. Benson tried to say, you can have the whole summer off if you want to show up at training camp, then that'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not there, you can't do this business halfway. You know that. He talked about 2 a.m. getting up and doing the prep. If you're not willing to do that, for him, if you're not 100% in, then you're 100% out.
That's right. Yeah, David's joining us to talk about this, surprising news that Sean Payton stepping down as a head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Let's get to the little part in replacement. Immediately you think Dennis Allen as the replacement. Obviously, they've got to go through the Rooney procedure. What do you think? Thoughts on what happens there and who ultimately gets that job?
Dennis Allen has to be the favorite, but people remember he was in Chicago today, Tuesday, visiting with the Bears, and I do think that the Saints want to keep Dennis Allen. They would like to do that, but rumors are that they also want to meet with Aaron Glenn, on the Detroit Lions staff as defensive coordinator now, and had a long history with the Saints as well. I think that they're to complete their Rooney Rule obligations. You and I would both be surprised, I think, if the Saints hired a black coach. We're surprised in the NFL right now if anybody hires a black coach, because there ain't one.
Right.
But I think Aaron Glenn will get some consideration. I absolutely do. I think that that you're going to look at guys from the offensive staff, of course, like a Joe Lombardi or somebody like that, and see if these guys are interested in maybe filling that role. I think would be the biggest mistake, though, is if you're trying to find the next Sean Payton. Don't find the next Sean Payton.
Right.
There's only one Sean Payton, just like there's only one Bill Parcells. There are very few coaches who come on who are iconic in that nature. What you have to do is you just have to find the guy who, at the one thing they have to understand, whomever is the next coach, is the culture, the accountability. You have to bring that in with you. The other stuff, players will respond to. If you come in and you respect those guys, that's a veteran team on defense. Sure. They'll be fine. And there are a lot of experienced guys on offense who will be leaders for whomever is the next head coach. But the thing is, you better come in and respect what they built. And if you don't do that, that's the fastest way to have the wrong hire. And I think the Saints and Mickey Loomis in particular will be very careful about the person they hand it over to.
I like two names. I like the of course, Dennis Allen, continuity there. The players love him, obviously. Aaron Glenn is another good one. I know Aaron personally, and just a good dude, does not cut any corners in any area of his life. So you won't get any culture drop off per se. But there's one name that I literally said, I hope he does not interview for this job, because I don't want him to be the typical Rooney Rule interviewee, and that's Eric Bieniemy. If he does not have a legitimate shot to get, if they want Allen, then get Allen, interview whoever else you got to interview, but don't do that to Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, a lot of people here, are certainly on the Eric Bieniemy wagon, because I think they've looked at this Saints team with the defense that it has and say if they can get a quarterback this offseason and put a halfway decent offense together, this is a contending team, not just a winning team. This is a team that could compete for the Super Bowl.
Right.
So to bring in, you look at how Bieniemy has used guys like Tyreek Hill and has used, Travis Kelce and things like that. The Saints look at some of those guys and say maybe a Jawan Johnson can develop into that kind of role. Maybe you can use Alvin Kamara and him split out more and try some different things. Do that backfield by committee. Get your quarterback who's a little bit, more mobile. Russell Wilson's name has been attached to the Saints a lot. I think that changes certainly, the likelihood changes somewhat, with Sean Payton not being in the picture, because that's a huge selling point is Sean Payton, or it was. But if you're a quarterback right now too, and you're looking at this is still a very good situation for you. This is a team that will spend money. This is a team that has a history of drafting fairly well, especially as of late. And this is a team that will compete. And it is in a division, when you look at it, Atlanta ain't that good.
Wide open.
Carolina ain't that good.
Wide open.
And Tampa
come back down
back to earth.
Right. I agree with you. Oh, that being said, let me throw out a couple of names and you give me just a quick what you think this means for them now. Jameis Winston.
I think it improves Jameis's chances of staying because of the fact that some of these free agent quarterbacks or tradable quarterbacks will no longer have New Orleans as their number one destination.
Okay. All right.
So you got to keep contact with Jameis.
Absolutely. Taysom Hill.
Taysom ain't going nowhere. His deal is his deal. He's still extremely affordable for a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
At $10 million, he's affordable. He's experienced. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to get that money. That bonus money ain't going nowhere. But they signed him to that extension to keep him around as a backup.
Does that change his role, though? Because not everyone had the eye that Sean Payton had to know now is the time to insert Taysom Hill. Does that change his role at all? What do you think?
If you're Taysom Hill, you're happy because maybe nobody's going to use you in that role anymore. You're 31 years old.
Okay.
You've taken that beating. You've missed games. You've had concussions. You got knocked around, and you keep wanting to prove that you're a quarterback in the NFL. Can't do that while you're playing that slash role.
Right. Michael Thomas.
That's a good question, too. I think that this could be a very interesting question for the Saints because now, do you trade Michael Thomas to get more picks to deal with some of the losses that you have or the things that you feel like you don't have that Sean Payton could cover up for you? Or if you're Michael Thomas, are you really excited right now? Like the pressure is on from him to the franchise as who are you going to bring back up in here? Because I still, I know he feels like he's a top 5 receiver in this league when he's healthy. And then when he comes back, he's going to expect to see 120 balls coming his way. Yeah. And if they don't have somebody who can do that, it could be a contentious offseason for them. So they've got to make this move on a head coach. It has to be done within the next 2 weeks, I think, for the Saints. The Saints are winning season. The pressure is really on them to move more quickly because they are not in a full rebuild like a lot of teams who have fired their coaches are.
David, we got to get ready to wrap this segment up. Before we go, though, give me your crystal ball. Who do you think comes in and where do you think Sean Payton ends up at any time, either now or after the contract is up?
Honestly, I think Sean Payton could be the next Bill Cowher in that he never goes back. I know Sean says that he has things that he wants to do in football, wants to do in football, but if he does them, I don't think it'll be as a coach. I really don't. Not right now, because the man that I saw today is a guy who's exhausted mentally and who also, I think, COVID. The last 2 years since he got COVID, he's been a different guy, a lot more open, a lot more communicative with the public. He thanked the media today and was like, "I'm sorry, I've been so rough to y'all."
I was one of those he was rough with. So yeah,
he was giving out king cakes. He gave out 100 king cakes today. I don't know that man.
Yeah.
That man is not ready to, when you see Bill Parcells walk away from a job, you knew he was getting another one.
Yeah.
No matter what he said,
yeah,
the look was still in his eye.
Yeah.
I think Sean Payton is like trying to be happy.
Okay. We'll see how that plays out. Again, we know he's going to take a break. We'll see him on somebody's broadcast soon.
I think that happens, yes.
Yeah, we'll see where that ends up. Who comes in ultimately?
The smart money has to be on Dennis Allen right now. If why would you leave? You already own that locker room if you're Dennis Allen. You've won a game when Sean Payton was missing this year with COVID. You've had a head coaching job in this league and know what it's like for it to go bad when you work with the Raiders. What makes you think Chicago's the place where it's going to go good?
Yeah.
You've seen it be really good in New Orleans. You've been up close with what it's like there. You've never seen it look good in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I think Dennis Allen has to be the favorite at this point.
Pencil in Jim Caldwell into Chicago. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but pencil that one in. I got a pretty reliable person up there that says Jim Caldwell. So
we'll see. Love Jim Caldwell still.
Me too. Man, we got to get ready to go. Tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, and what you're working on now, David.
Yeah, you can, of course, find me on Instagram and Twitter at DM Grubb. Hard to Paint, available wherever you get your podcasts. And I'm now with the Louisiana Radio Network, so I'm doing sports with them and news, and occasionally hosting Tiger Rag Radio, which is the Bible of LSU sports. So you can check that out on Tuesdays from 6 to 8. I do that every other week. So I did it last week. That was out there. Next week I should be hosting again.
On a personal note, you got to get me some contacts with Southern University. My daughter has been accepted to Southern. You see, I got my little Southern baby blue on, and I got to be able to get into some games. So when she's in the student section, I'm still up there like, what is she doing?
It's good. Hopefully this is a good year on the Bluff. They've gotten some good transfers this offseason. When Southern is good, Black college football is good.
Absolutely. They got a great head coach. And Coach Dooley coming over from Prairie View back home for him. Yes. And I had him on the show, and he couldn't be happier, man. So I told him I'm part of Jaguar Nation now. So, yeah, man. Hey, David, thanks for making the time to come on. I know you got a lot of things going on. We appreciate you. We love you, man, and we can't wait to talk to you again soon.
I love you too, brother. Y'all take it easy.
All right. We appreciate David Grubb. We'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break.
Hi, this is Candace Houston. Tune into my new radio show called Candid Plug. Every Saturday from noon to 1, we will have engaging conversations on current events, topics that affect the community, and religion. Join me each Saturday from noon to 1 for my new show called Candid Plug, where you plus me equals us, right here on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on KYOKradio.org.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our Winning Wednesday. I want to thank David Grubb for making the time to jump on real quick. I know he's got a lot of things to do. Very candid conversation there. I'll be interested to see if Sean Payton does what he said and become the next Bill Cowher and not come back. It's hard to tell because look at how long John Gruden was out. 10 years before he caught the bug and came back, and he was not ready to go when he was, sent off. So I think it'll be very interesting. I think Dennis Allen is the logical choice there at head coach. I think it'll be a surprise because if they don't keep Dennis Allen as the head coach, I don't think they can keep him as their defensive coordinator. And bring somebody else in because Dennis Allen will feel slighted, and as he should. And that Saints defense was very good under him. All right, listen, I got to get ready to go. Donnie McClurkin up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music, latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. Then, of course, I'll be back tomorrow, Throwback Thursday. Chris Gardner, Houston Round Ball Review will be in the house. We'll also look at the matchups between Cincinnati and Kansas City, San Francisco and the Rams, And we'll talk about some of these NBA games. Golden State all over the Mavericks last night, 130-92. Rockets got spanked by the Spurs, 134-104. The Lakers, with Anthony Davis back, looked pretty good against the Brooklyn Nets. Of course, Brooklyn was without Kevin Durant, who possibly will be out 6 weeks or more with a knee injury. And, of course, Kyrie Irving can't play in Brooklyn because of his vaccination status. And we're getting word that James Harden is not happy in Brooklyn. So we'll see if that is impacted in the trade deadline, before the trade deadline comes up. I'm hearing it's a realistic possibility he could end up in Philadelphia and possibly a 3-team trade to get Ben Simmons out of there. So again, a lot coming up, a lot to talk about. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Let me get Sybil Wilkes on one more time for what you need to know. And then again, after that, Donnie McClurkin. Y'all have a blessed rest of your day. We'll talk to you again on tomorrow.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Wednesday. We're trying to get over that hump. January 26, 2022. Number 1. The federal trial of 3 former Minneapolis police officers accused of violating the civil rights of George Floyd began Monday. Thomas Lane, J. Alexander King, and Tu Tao are charged with depriving the African-American man of his constitutional rights on May 25, 2020. Federal prosecutors said they will show that King, Lane, and Tao stood by as former policeman Derek Chauvin slowly killed George Floyd right in front of them. Number 2, the Black population of the United States is diverse, growing, and changing. Roughly 4.6 million, or 1 in 10 Black people in the U.S., were born in a different country as of 2019. That's up 3% from 1980. The Black immigrant population is also projected to outpace the U.S.-born Black population in growth. In 2060, the U.S. Census Bureau projects that this number will increase to 9.5 million, or more than double the current level. Number 3, the Biden administration has announced that it plans to issue 400 million free N95 masks at pharmacies and health centers across the country. The coveted non-surgical N95 masks are coming from the Strategic National Stockpile, which is the country's cache of medical equipment supplies. Most of the pharmacies include CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, and Sam's Club. Customers are limited to 3 masks per person. Number 4, a central Pennsylvania borough is poised to become the first municipality to repeal anti-discrimination safeguards. The ordinance, which extends protections to gay, transgender, or genderqueer people, was passed in October by the then Democratic Majority Council. Pennsylvania is one of 27 states that have no explicit statewide laws protecting people from discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity in employment, housing, and public accommodations. Number 5, Tiffany Foster has not been seen or heard from since March 1st, 2021. Tiffany was last seen leaving her home at the Lakeside Apartments in Newman, Georgia, as she was headed to the grocery store. Tiffany is described as 5 feet 2 inches tall with hazel eyes and weighs 220 pounds. If you or someone you know has information regarding Tiffany's disappearance, please go to blackandmissinginc.com. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Change is inevitable. Go with the flow of the universe for peace. So inhale change, exhale resistance. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with Stephen Hill, Myra J., and Quinn Townsend Riley as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SybilWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
All right, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. I want to thank all my special guests today. Kim Y. Davis, phenomenal. Al Hygh, Casual Highlight, phenomenal. And of course, David Grubb, host of Hard to Paint. Man, really, really enjoyed you. Mike Patton, Monica Morris Howard, Keith Hennick, CJ, Ben Sutter III, all of y'all, man. Y'all just make this show fun to do and be a part of. So listen, we're not going to do this. We're going to find a way to do this. I love you. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a good one.